Right, jolly good. We're back after a little hiatus, some illness in the Come On You Reds towers, and yeah, to be honest with you, quite a lot's been happening. So what's going on in the in the world of the Gooners? Let's quickly touch on transfers.
Yeah.
As a Forest fan, I don't think you've got as much to talk about as me, but what's going on? What's going on in Arsenal's world?
Y- Yes, I mean, I guess in terms of transfers, it's more like outgoings for us, I think, isn't it? We're not going to sign anybody else. Arteta's just kind of confirmed that today, actually, as well. Um, yeah, well, I guess another kind of link between us guys, right? Nuno Tavares has gone to Forest on loan.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see how he performs. He did have a good loan spell at Marseille last year. I feel like we might have touched on this when he was being linked a couple of weeks ago.
mm,
Um, but it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. And it also looks like we're selling. It also looks like we're selling Rob Holding as well. Holdinho is
yeah.
is finally on the move. It looks like to Crystal Palace.
He's got a funny
Um,
choice. I think I read somewhere that he's got a choice between Crystal Palace, Luton, and Sevilla,
mm,
and it's like wow, like culture, the sort of culture clash is there. But yeah, on paper, Crystal Palace looks like the best option for him.
yeah, I mean, I reckon if I was him, I would have chosen. I didn't realise Sevilla were in for him. I would have chosen Sevilla. That'd be a lovely place to go and live for a couple of years.
I know, and Champions League football. But
And Champions League, yeah, they're in Arsenal's group actually,
yeah,
which was the draw was yesterday. So yeah, I mean, it's no surprise that he's going because he's essentially like fifth choice centre back now. Like, he's not even getting on the bench. There's no surprise that he's going, but it looks like he's going for about 4 million, which seems ridiculously low. Considering, like, I guess he's played well over 100 games for us, but it's probably just the state of the window, right? It's like deadline day, so we're probably just going to take what we can for him now. But yeah, it doesn't seem like a very high price.
I guess you're chipping off your wage bill as well, and that plays a huge part. The stuff we don't see, balancing the books and whatnot. And I think on the move as well. Like I only heard that on TalkSport about Sevilla, but I think what's easy to forget with transfers is when a player sat there on deadline day, he might have to move to Spain overnight.
Yeah.
So if he moves to Crystal Palace, he can stay where he lives.
Mm, mm,
Logistically, if he's got a young family,
that's true.
then players have to take that into consideration as well. Yeah, there's Champions League football in Spain and whatnot, but the option to just stay put and keep things simple in that respect, that's got to play a part as well.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah, sort of minimal disruption if he goes to Crystal Palace, right? Um,
Yeah, we sit here watching Sky Sports News and the yellow ties and whatnot, and we forget that these players are just being shoved all over Europe. And like we don't even consider the fact that they've got to move house,
yeah,
uproot their family. How stressful is that?
God, yeah, yeah. Well, moving is so stressful anyway, isn't it? And
I
like,
know.
let alone like if they move, as you say, you'll probably be like he'll be expected what to make is it's the season's already started, so I guess there's an international break, so yeah, he'll be expected to make his debut in like a couple of weeks and go
Yeah.
straight in. Um, so
So that's
yeah,
Rob Holding, Tavares.
got Holding Tavares. We sold Balogun as well. I think since we last spoke to Monaco, which turned out to be our record sale for 38 million.
Can I just
Uh,
touch on that very quickly?
yeah,
He's gone for a lot of money.
yeah, yeah.
How much have you seen of him? Like, is he worth that?
Well, I mean, he's gone for a lot of money, but to be honest, a lot of Arsenal fans were saying we should be getting more for him.
Well, why isn't
Just
he in the bloody Arsenal squad then?
because he wants to play all the time. He wants to play regularly.
And
Um,
Arteta doesn't think he's good enough
I
yet.
guess so. I guess so. He's not better than Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, if he was happy to play like the Nketiah role, then perhaps he'd be staying potentially, but he's just not. Um, Honestly, I've not seen like enough of him to say if he's worth that or not. But he obviously scored a lot of goals for forget who was on loan at last year now. He scored a lot of goals in League One, but so did
Worth
Lacazette.
now.
but but so did Lacazette, and he couldn't score in the Premier League in his last season with us. So
Okay, cool. Is that about it then on the transfer front? Or-
I think so. Other than to say as well, mate, we've got a lot of players who are kind of just sort of milling about, but they're not really in like our first team squad at all. And it's really surprising they haven't been sold. So we've got Sambi Lokonga. I think he might go somewhere. We've got Cedric Suarez as well.
yeah.
And also we've got our record signing just waiting in the wings for someone to take him. We've got Pepe as well, who I think we might end up just sort of ripping up his contract, which is mad. I mean, he cost 72 million, and that was 4 years ago. But yeah, nobody wants him on his wages anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I read that they're looking to just to terminate the contract on that one. Lukonga went to Crystal Palace for a bit once, didn't he? I think.
Did went there last year. There's talk of Luton. I think Luton want him, which um,
That'd be
yeah, I
quite
mean,
savvy.
it makes sense for everyone. I think for Luton that'd be a good signing.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't come cheap on wages though, but yeah.
Mm, mm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you want to touch on last week's match or
yeah. I guess we can do quickly. I mean, yeah, I'm over it now, but it took a couple of days to get over. Just a mad game. Um, I think, yeah, looking back, I mean, we should have when we went 2-1 up, we really should have like managed the game a bit better. But yeah, I think um, Arteta made a couple of changes as well, which maybe he shouldn't have made. I'm not sure. He took Odegaard off when we were 2-1 up. But yeah, I mean, when you come back from 1-0 down, right, and you're 2-1 up against 10 men, I guess you kind of think that the hard work has been done, but it just kind of goes to show, like in the Premier League, right, nothing is ever over. Um,
is it? I've read a lot of like headlines. I haven't really dug too deep, but I've read a lot of headlines, sort of, and whispers from Arsenal fans, and I can't remember for my life the name of that Arsenal fan who's all over YouTube. Kind of a tall, lanky guy, bald head.
Lee, maybe.
Maybe can't remember, but he was sort of suggesting that. And I've just insulted him as well, so maybe he doesn't watch this. But uh, he was suggesting that like it's the first time that Arsenal fans are questioning Arteta's tactical nous. Is he getting it right? Is he does he need to revert back to what you were playing last season? Are you making changes for the sake of it, etc.?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, I mean, I guess don't forget that when he first came in, we weren't successful for quite a long time, so he was getting a lot of questions then as well. But I mean, I guess in terms of like the last year or so, yeah, he's kind of been given benefit of the doubt by everyone. I mean, yeah, I'm still absolutely giving him the benefit of the doubt, to be honest, because like I can see why he's doing it. We're in the Champions League this year. He obviously wants us to like peak at the right time this season. So yeah, but I think it will be really, really interesting to see whether he kind of like goes back to basics a bit on Sunday against United. I guess brings us onto that game kind of. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if he does that.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It hasn't quite clicked yet this season, has it? But yeah. So the match. When are you playing? Is it Sunday? Yeah.
Sunday afternoon. Yeah.
So the match on Sunday against Man United. I think last season the corresponding fixture was it 3-2.
Yeah.
That was probably the best match I watched all of last season in terms of entertainment, goals scored, quality on the field. How do you see the teams sort of matching up this time? What do you I mean, are Arsenal favourites? Basically, is what I'm trying to get at.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, I would say Arsenal are favourites. What about you, Pete, as a neutral?
Well, they've just signed Reguilon from Spurs.
Oh, Regulon, yeah.
Reguilon. So that's a weak spot because it's going to be Saka versus Reguilon, which is a huge sort of if I was a Man United fan, I'd be worried about that. Um, then they've got the Amrabat as well. So
Yeah.
there's nothing suggesting to me that about Man United at the moment that should worry you. Having said that, you've also looked underwhelming this season, albeit
Yeah.
you've racked up a couple of wins and stuff. But so I don't know. It's finely poised. It doesn't feel as exciting as last season because I think last season you were flying high at the time, top of the
Yeah.
league on a good roll. I think Rashford was in free flowing form at the time, so it just doesn't feel as finely poised. It's early on in the season, so harder to call. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
have you down as favourites just about. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I mean, I think the game last year was obviously it was a bit later on in the season, wasn't it? I think it might have just been after the World Cup, potentially around sort of like January time. And even though it was 3-2, we like in the second half we absolutely smashed them. We were kind of all over them in the second half. That's probably one of our best performances of the season, actually. We were
Yeah.
so good. I mean, Nketiah scored twice. He was really good. Saka was amazing. Odegaard was amazing. I mean, if we get close to that performance, and I think we'll win because, as you said, United haven't looked they've looked underwhelming as well. Probably even more so than us, I would say. Well, they've got less points, yeah. So yeah, I think if we play anywhere close to that, then we'd absolutely be favourites. But yeah, I think it's just going to be interesting in terms of like how he sets up. Is he going to bring Gabriel back in? Um, is he going to keep playing Party as the kind of inverted fullback on the right? Is Jesus going to come back in as well? That's also interesting. I think probably not. I think Nketiah's well, it was Trossard that started last week actually, and he was very poor. Nketiah came on, scored a really good goal, made a big difference. I think Nketiah will start on Sunday, and Jesus will be on the bench. I think. Yeah, so there's a few selection dilemmas, I guess, for Arteta, but yeah, I think if he doesn't change things up and we play the same sort of team and we don't perform and we don't get the result, he is going to face quite a few questions, I think, from the Arsenal fans and from like the media in general, I guess.
Yeah. I wonder if your first game against Forest set the tone for the next two games against you because we kind of set up with a low block which worked against you and we did the same back in the last season. I'm just wondering if you're playing Man United that are going to give you more space in the final third. I wonder if actually that's just going to suit you and it's going to specifically suit players like Odegaard and Saka and Martinelli more. You're not going to feel so stifled because Man United are not going to set up with five at the back and play a low block. They might do, but you'd hope not.
Mm.
So maybe the free flowing nature of the game will suit you more with Man United trying to push you more.
Yeah.
Because I think Palace sort of sat back against you. I didn't watch the Fulham game, but I imagine they did something quite similar.
Well, same thing. Yeah, when they scored in the first minutes, they actually had something to defend as well, didn't they?
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
when I've watched Odegaard, it's been the games that have been open, and free flowing that he stands out just with that little bit more time on the ball. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it might suit you guys. It might be an opportunity for you to put a really good performance in and pick up that momentum you had last season. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good point. Hopefully, I think in these games, they're such like big games, even at this stage of the season, right? So delicately poised potentially that yeah, I think we kind of want to see definitely an improvement in performance for sure. But I think even if we don't play at our best and we just like sneak a win, I think we'll definitely kind of take that as well. Um, so yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. Yeah,
Okay, prediction on score.
yeah, head and heart again. Hmm. I'm almost saying my head is saying it's going to be a draw. I think it's going to be close, but I'm going to go for us to win. I'm going to go head 2-1 Arsenal and heart. Yeah, I guess 2-0 Arsenal. Always a bit more optimistic. Heart.
Clean
So,
sheet.
huh?
Clean sheet.
Clean sheet. Yeah,
Oh
which would be
yeah,
good.
and I think I heard today that Hoyland's available for them now, so it's the first chance we've got to have a look at him.
Oh, okay. Be interested to see if he starts it. I presume he will because, yeah, I mean, Martial's not going to keep him out, is he?
No, so that'd be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, it's a big game, really big game.
Big game. Yeah, yeah,
Especially
yeah, yeah.
people from our generation, Arsenal, Man United is always just a huge game. So.
Definitely.